Hey Bob, have you seen my car keys? I've been looking everywhere, man. I can't find them. I need to go into town and buy some popcorn. We're gonna watch a movie tonight. You wanna watch To All a Good Night? Oh, hey man. Hey, sorry. I took your car out for a drive. I'm just trying to find a woman with a nice ass. You took my fucking car? I've had that car since I was 16 years old. Why did you do this to me, Bob? It was for my sweet 16. Do you know how important that fucking car is to me? Whoa, I'm sorry, man. You had a sweet 16 birthday party? Yeah, I had a sweet 16 party. My parents threw it for my ass. Everyone in the fucking neighborhood came down to my fucking party. We had mashed potatoes, we had hamburgers, we had fucking hot dogs, you name it. Well, anyway, here's the fucking keys, man. I promise I won't take your car out again. You better never take my keys again, you little fucking prick. 'Cause I'll get a hold of you, and I'll make you pay the ultimate fucking price. Mark my words, Bob. I'll make you pay the ultimate price. What's the ultimate price? Hey guys, it's me again, Eric here at Mountaintop 9, and in this video, I want to talk about a slasher film from 1980 called To All a Good Night. It was directed by David Hess, and if that name sounds familiar, well, the reason is, he is the legendary actor from Last House on the Left. He played the villain in that one, in that great exploitation flick directed by Wes Craven, and in addition to that, he also starred in the Ruggero Deodato film House on the Edge of the Park. So just those two movies alone make David Hess, that makes his name live on in infamy. And I'll tell you what, David Hess was a really nice guy. I got to meet him at a horror convention one time, and he was a really nice dude. Very far removed from the type of characters he played. You know, you watch him in films like Last House on the Left and Hitchhike and House on the Edge of the Park, and you think, wow, that dude is dangerous. He seems very intimidating and, you know, just seems like an overall a tough guy. But then you meet him in person at a convention, and he was very unassuming, just really nice and just got along great with his fans. And another really notable thing about this slasher is the fact that it has a killer wearing a Santa costume. Now, we all know about the whole Santa Claus motif in slashers. You know, once Silent Night, Deadly Night came out, I mean, that's where that's where it really registered in people's brains. Now, this slasher film has never gotten much recognition for the fact that it has a killer wearing a Santa Claus costume, you know, and it predates Silent Night, Deadly Night. Everyone knows that movie because Silent Night, Deadly Night, it really pushed that part of the, that whole aspect of the film. The fact that there is a killer wearing a Santa suit, they really pushed that in the marketing for Silent Night, Deadly Night. So it's notorious for that. But here we have a movie made in 1980, and it has a killer doing the same thing, but this movie went totally under the radar. Now, one thing before we even get into the plot of this movie and other elements, I want to say the cover art is just absolutely beautiful. You gotta love that illustration. Don't you just love those illustrations for 70s and 80s horror films that you would see on VHS covers when you'd walk into a video store and you'd go in the horror aisle? When you saw illustrations like these, man, they just made your imagination just spin. And that's the great thing about this DVD release that came out from Scorpion Releasing and Kino Lorber. You know, I like how they kept the original cover art. That same cover art that you saw on the media VHS back in the 80s, well, they stayed true to that. And that's the thing that I've always loved about anything that Scorpion does or Code Red. I love how they always try to keep the original cover arts that you saw on those VHS releases back in the day. But anyway, yeah, this is the DVD release, and if you can, pick this one up. It looks very good. I'll tell you what right now, the only drawback to seeing the movie look so damn good is the fact that certain sequences in this movie were shot day for night. You know, so they were shooting scenes in the daytime and then they tried to make it look like nighttime. Now, I'd say a good portion of the movie they actually did night for night shooting. But there are some day for night scenes and they are painfully obvious on this cleaned up transfer that you get on this DVD release. But other than that little drawback, the movie looks absolutely stunning, so definitely pick this one up. Now, as far as the plot is concerned, this one is just your standard slasher storyline. It starts out with someone dying in a misfortunate accident, and then a couple years later, other people start being mysteriously killed one by one. And one thing that's really great about this film is it has a very nice setting. They shot this film in this big mansion, and I'm talking it's huge. Has a ton of rooms, it's very picturesque, and it just has a great atmosphere for a slasher film. But besides the really good setting, what are some other good aspects to this film? Well, I'll tell you what right now. This film is an early special makeup effects credit from Mark Shostrom. Now, Mark, he did special effects later on for movies like The Mutilator, Evil Dead 2, From Beyond, a couple of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and on and on. He's a guy that has a lot of talent and has worked on many films over the years. And, you know, the effects in this one, they're a little bit on the dry side. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more blood. I mean, as it stands, you get a throat slitting in this one. There's a scene where someone gets an axe to the face, and then also there is a decapitation in this one as well. And the really interesting thing about this person getting decapitated is the fact that the girl's head is placed on a shower faucet, okay? So later on you see this head hanging from a shower faucet when people go into the restroom. Now, what is really cool about that is you already have a couple slasher movies in the early 80s that would come out later, like Curtains and House on Sorority Row, and in both of those there was a severed head placed in a toilet bowl. Well, the cool thing about this one is you've got a head hanging from a shower faucet, so I think that's pretty interesting. A pretty unique use of a severed head in a slasher flick, so I do like that element. The only other killing that's really noteworthy as far as special makeup effects go is there is a scene that could have been even more brutal where the Santa Claus, he puts down this wiring, like piano wire or something. It's some really sharp string of some sort, and he puts it around some guy's throat and he's pulling upward on it, and you see the skin starting to come up on the guy's throat like the skin is tearing. So that's kind of a queasy special effect, but it could have been much more bloody. I mean, they should have made that like some Prowler style shit, or The Burning, where you've got a lot of blood coming out of the neck wound. That would have made the film even more brutal, in my opinion. If they just would have added some more blood to the killings in this movie, it would have made an even better impression as far as that's concerned. And then we move along to the music score to this movie. And I gotta tell you, the music score was done by a man named Richard Tufo. And his music score has some truly off-kilter, really weird uses of synthesizer sounds that will just really make your head spin. I'm telling you, this is the type of stuff that you would expect a person suffering from schizophrenia to be hearing going on in their head. It is pure madness, the sounds that this guy comes up with. It's just really crazy stuff. So I gotta give the composer credit for that, at least. The music is really weird. The biggest things holding To All a Goodnight back are, like I already said, it could have been bloodier. That would have been nice. Some more splashy makeup effects would have really made the proceedings much more enjoyable. But in addition to that, I think that it's just a little bit too slow. I mean, it drags on a little bit too long. There are some pacing issues in this film. I think it should have taken place over the course of one night rather than spread it out over the course of 2 nights. I feel like that daytime segment in the middle of the film kind of slows things down. It would have been nice if it would have dragged out over one long night. And if they could have paced it out over that, I think the movie would have worked a lot better. But as it stands, it's got a good setting. I love the mansion. There is some really good lighting in this movie. I love the use of like pink and purple shining out of one of the bedrooms. It just looks kind of cool. That lighting is really interesting. And then another cool thing about the movie is you do see the killer. You see the maniac Santa Claus several times in the back of the frame. You know, the other characters can't see him, but you can see him lurking in the background. I like stuff like that. I like when he peers through a window in a door, or when you can see him in the background and the characters are in the foreground. I think that's pretty cool. And just the fact that it's directed by David Hess. I mean, come on, the guy's a horror legend. As it stands, it's just a middle-of-the-road slasher. It's not great or anything, but it's not totally bad either. It's just middle-of-the-road stuff. It deserves a watch because of the David Hess involvement and for just a few other good things like the setting, the lighting, and the score. Those are really the selling points for To All a Goodnight. So give it a watch, see what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. As it stands, if I were rating it on a star system, like out of 4 stars, I'd give it like 2 stars. Because it's just an average movie. It's just a fair quality slasher flick. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. And guess what? I'll be seeing you again real soon.